Hey, what's going on, jump rope fitness community? Dave Hunt, and today I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks for jumping rope for a long time to build your endurance. If you haven't taken a look yet, the first link below links directly to our free fitness community where we've got jump rope tips, workouts, resources, challenges, and a whole bunch of other people just like you that are using the jump rope to get fit. The second link is a link to our products and the quarter-pound agility rope that I'll be using for this demonstration today. So one of the most common questions that I get from jumpers is, how do I learn how to jump for longer? We know that jumping rope is a challenging exercise, especially when you're a beginner. And so I think that it's cool when people are trying to set these personal goals to jump for longer and longer intervals, this personal challenge that they have. So today I want to cover a couple different tips to help you if you have this same goal. So jumping rope kind of traditionally is known as a cardiovascular type exercise, and for good reason. It's really, really good when used in longer intervals for improving your overall conditioning and endurance, because it is using a lot of different muscle groups, but it's not so intense that you can't do it for a prolonged period of time. So similar to other cardiovascular exercises, you want to be aware of your technique so that you can get very efficient in the way that you're jumping, and that will be what enables you to jump for longer and longer periods of time. All right, so the first thing that I want to discuss is the type of rope. And there's a lot of different choices. Oftentimes I recommend heavier ropes for jumping, which are fantastic for beginners learning the skill or for high intensity type workouts. Heavier ropes are not necessarily the best for improving your endurance because you're going to wear out a lot quicker and you're not going to be able to jump quite as long. On the other end of the spectrum, there are wire speed ropes that are really, really light and really fast, and those are not optimal for building your endurance either, because they're so light when you start to fatigue you can lose the feel of the ropes and you just start tripping too frequently to keep a consistent pace when you're jumping. So I recommend something in about the quarter-pound range, which is the lightest of our weighted ropes, the quarter-pound black agility rope, because it's not going to fatigue your upper body. You'll be able to jump with it for a long period of time, but it's heavy enough so that you get that consistent feedback when you're jumping. So once you have a baseline skill with the basic jump, it's good to explore a couple other types of skills that you can mix into your jumping. Because if you stick with one skill the entire time, the particular muscle groups and the way that you're engaging them are going to get fatigued a little faster. If you go back and forth between a couple different skills, it's going to allow you to continue to rotate the rope without fatiguing one muscle group too much. And I'll give an example. 3 skills that I like to use when I'm jumping for a long period of time are the basic jump, the boxer step, which is shifting the weight between feet, and then the alternate foot step. And I'm just going to do a short demonstration of how I switch between the 3 of those. So this is the basic jump. The weight is evenly distributed between my feet, and it's a pretty good skill for endurance. But if you feel that you're getting a little bit of an extra calf burn, if you switch to the boxer step, shifting the weight back and forth between your left and your right foot, it just engages your muscles in a different way and kind of allows you to continue going. Of course, if you miss, that's fine. The goal is to just keep the rope moving. So we're on the boxer step, and then I like to shift to an alternate foot step. And then back to a basic jump, boxer step, alternate foot step. Now it's entirely up to you how frequently you want to switch between skills. You may choose 2 skills, you may choose 6 skills. But using different skills in an endurance capacity is something that does allow you to shift the nature of the jumping and allows you to improve your endurance depending on how long you want to do that interval for. So the next thing that I want to hit on is breathing. Now, sometimes if you don't feel that you're getting fatigued because you're having a hard time gasping for air, if that's not the limiting factor for you when you're jumping, then don't even think about it. It's just going to distract you. If you feel that you're having a hard time catching a breath when you're jumping and you just get so tired and fatigued that even though your technique is still good, you're just not able to continue because you're too tired, then it's good to start thinking about rhythmic breathing that somehow aligns with the rhythm that you're jumping. So it might be something like breathe out for 2 rotations, breathe in for 2 rotations. Breathe out for 2 rotations, breathe in for 2 rotations. I'll go ahead and demonstrate. Maybe it's every 3 or 4 rotations. It's going to be at a pace that you feel comfortable with, but if you're focusing on those deep breaths all the way down through your diaphragm, and those breaths are at the same rhythm of your jumping, it's going to help you remember to really take those deep breaths so that you're getting enough oxygen to keep on jumping. Try to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, similar to most other endurance type exercises. And you'll find that now you're able to focus a little bit more on being efficient in your technique. And that's the final thing that we'll talk about. One of the most common tendencies when people are jumping is they'll get fatigued in a particular muscle group. So if it's their lower body, we talked about varying the skills. If it's upper body, what often happens is people start in this comfortable form, and then as they get fatigued, their arms start to flare out a little bit. And we know that when your arms flare out, it shortens the effective length of the arc, and it's more likely to cause a trip up. And so it's very common to see beginners, as they get tired, bring their arms out, trip up, start up again, bring their arms up, trip up, and it becomes kind of a point of frustration. So they don't understand why they're not able to jump for longer time periods. So it's very important to be aware when you're jumping and you get into that rhythm of what your arms are doing. Because if your arms start to come out, you need to consciously think about bringing it into this position and making sure that you have that symmetric arm positioning, the nice, easy, basic bounce, and not a lot of movement. Because if you're still have this really wild form with your arms moving all around, it expends a lot more energy and you're going to tire out a lot faster. So it's small bounds, small wrist movements, deep rhythmic breathing, making sure that you have your arms in the proper position, and then just setting goals. So you might want to try to shoot for 2 minutes of continuous jumping with a certain rest, a minute rest, and then another 2 minutes, and then build off of that until gradually you're hitting the interval lengths that you want to hit for your own personal endurance goals. So I hope that you found those tips helpful. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes practice. It's not easy to build up jump rope endurance, but it's a very fun, engaging, rewarding way to train. As you learn more skills, you'll have more that you can go to help you become an outstanding jumper. Let me know how it goes.